Well, I'll just start with who I am. I'm Terrence Pearce. So I'm just running a basic setup, little home studios. To be honest, it's all you really need. Um, I'm running Ableton and Reason. I use Ableton most of the time. I've got R-key monitors. I've had this sound card for ages. So Firewire Solo Pro M audio. Also just basic, but I mean it's served me well. And then I've got this Innovation Impulse MIDI controller. So I've got all my own production techniques and the ways that I think things work and what works for me. It's just teaching yourself and finding your way. Being not too technical about it and analysing too much, almost having too much, almost being taught too much about it, sometimes can ruin it. You start overthinking too much. It's music and they basically all this is originated in Africa. It's a couple of guys banging on some drums, you know what I mean? It's not like a technical thing. But I guess with production it is to a certain extent, but it's always got to come down to making music, not making like this, not making a circuit board. The kind of stuff that I'm normally using synth-wise, I mean patches and things like that. I like a really organic kind of raw sound. So that's, as I said, I like to sample a lot. So even if I'll take like a Rhodes chord sample, and then just throw it into a simpler. And just EQ it a bit, or add a little bit of chorus or reverb or delay or something, and then just play it out. Gives a nice warm sound. Otherwise, I mean, the Korg Legacy pack's really great. It's like a lot of all the vintage sounds. There's an MS-20 in there. There's the bass, the Monopoly. What is the other one? So the old one that does all the 90s, like all the organ sounds, the M1, exactly, like that's amazing. Yeah, and then I mean, just with the EQing and stuff, the Fab filter pack is amazing for EQing. They're timeless for all the delays and stuff is amazing. Ableton's such a good program that, to be honest, you can write something good with hardly anything. You can write everything on board there if you know what you're doing. Not that I do. Majority of the time I'd start with just a kick. Trying to get a new kick in can be a nightmare, trying to rewrite it all with a new kick. If you just start with that, it helps a lot. So I know what kind of BPM I'm working at. I don't really use the click. I just don't get to feel the groove as much working with the click. Yeah, and then just work around that. Get a nice like sort of 4-bar, 16-bar loop going that you're happy with. Then just try and stretch it out. And then getting a loop is probably the easiest thing you can do. But finishing the track is by far the hardest. Dealing with labels and stuff. I mean, that's something I learned just when I was still hitting up the blogs and stuff. There's just a way of approaching labels. What I've learned was you only get one chance to label. So if you sent them something you weren't 100% sure of will fit the label, or you weren't happy 100% with the music itself, you weren't for sure. That's your chance. If they didn't like it or they thought it was shit, they're not going to look the next time they see your name up in an email. So make that one chance that you have count, because that's usually it. And just being professional is obviously hitting deadlines at the right time, sending the guys the right quality, a pre-master. It's just basic production stuff. If you want to do international, you got to do it completely different and sound-wise. And South Africa's still a bit behind, so you almost got to cheese it up a bit for South Africa to get anywhere. Whereas, say if you're going to Europe, to be maybe say famous in South Africa, might not work in Europe or whatever. You can make black coffee, but I mean, besides anyone else, look at the Unfoot, where they were nobody in South Africa for a while. They would be Unfoot for a while and no one cared. They blew up, now they're overseas. Now only because they got recognised overseas, they're in South Africa like the Unfoot. Petit Noir, how many people really care about it in South Africa? No one, but that's sound dominant. So when else close in South Africa in the history of sound anything like that. So I just want to see in general South African music, bands, electronic artists, all that. All I want them to do is write music that they want to write, and interesting music, instead of trying to write what they think they should be making for an international crowd, or writing to try and make South African crowd happy. Write what you write, and that's it. Problem with also here is guys are willing to play for basically nothing as well. They'll play for a dab of MDMA, you know what I mean, and a handshake. doesn't help the scene because it means a lot of the wrong guys are playing, and it means that the next guy who wants to try and make some money out of DJing and just at least, come out, walk away with something after a set, can't, because that's the guy who gets the dabs will get it, because he can do it for nothing. No, this is just the problems with the scene, but then it goes back to what I said earlier with we need a much more developed, mature scene before any of that kind of stuff happens. When there's quality over, when there's people who want to go see someone because they're good, or they're interesting, instead of just going for a party. If you're all about the party, go buy crates of quartz, put on some music at home, and get fucked with your friends, you know what I mean? But if you're about the music, then go to the right parties with the right music and people who are actually putting effort into it and who are good at what they do, Now that's just a little rant, but yeah, we'll get there hopefully. As soon as people start doing it, promoters start paying up properly and paying for the right DJs instead of paying for the guys who play for free and for dabs. And for DJs to stick up for themselves as well, make sure that the promoters pay them and make sure that they ask for proper decent fees when they get paid. Yeah, I'm a nightclub Prime Life. We have it at Wayne Room, Long Street, every Saturday. It's something we've been doing for a long time under different names. It was Warm Up back in the past. It was originally called Future Disco. We were doing another venue. It's always been based on that sort of house and disco sound. It's worth checking out now. It's good fun. It's something different in Cape Town to the usual. Cool.
He's a resident.
Oh shit, bro, I'm not repping these other guys now.